to me, marketing is just having a conversation with your users. A while ago, it was all you could do is say one thing to a bunch of people. Now you have the ability to know exactly who you're talking to and say something to them. It gets annoying when we just continue to blast everyone. So I think it's a matter of how you communicate and not making it annoying. And gone are going to be the days where you can just snatch a bunch of data and reach out to people cold. You have to figure out a way to build that first party CRM data, or get people to say, I'm willing to give you my data in exchange for something. So that's going to me the biggest focus moving forward is how can you set up some sort of lead magnet, some sort of offer, some sort of value add in exchange for, to start, the email and phone number. Then how do you continue to communicate through like quizzes and other things to identify their interest and all that. And as you build that up, it's a matter of, well, if I know you like dirt biking and you're a girl and you spend X amount a month on this, what can I say to you? Having that ability and what you say makes all the difference in whether they're going to convert and continue to buy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Founders Ascent. In today's episode, we have a special guest, Dustin Trout, founder of EIC Agency, a marketing company that is helping people track their ROI. And it looks like they're starting what's called Click and Mortar as well. So Dustin, give us a quick briefing about yourself and what EIC is currently doing.
Cool. A bit about me. I got into digital marketing accidentally about 13 years ago with Google, cold calling and selling Google ads, and then educating. Have a history of playing sports, so always want to be number one, and kind of went from cold calling to managing accounts and teaching agencies. So got to work with bigger clients, but it was only for about 90 days. So I left Google after about 2.5 years, and then worked around the Phoenix Valley with some bigger agencies that worked with more national, international brands. So was able to lead strategy for digital ad campaigns, helping manage Google ads, Facebook ads, all the digital assets basically. And so got a sense of the inner workings at agencies, and I loved it, but I thought there was a better way to do it. A lot of recommendations came at the back of what's going to make the agency the most margin rather than the client, which I get, but I thought there was a different way to approach it. So started EIC Agency about 5 years ago in 2018. We have gone from doing anything and everything for everyone under the sun to really predominantly focusing on ad management, going back to the core of what got me into ads. And so we help really e-commerce brands that are growing, help them scale through ads. Really focused on ROI and really tracking some really granular KPIs like customer acquisition costs, lifetime value, all those things that help you be profitable. Always wanted to help the small business out, the local local company out, but it just never made financial sense for us, for them, and struggled to render our services. And so Click and Mortar kind of accidentally came through one of our brick and mortar clients. And so that launched about 3 months ago, and ultimately we run ads, we get offers in front of people that are right around the corner. And then we use the CRM to nurture and ultimately get people in the door, and we can track if they came in. So we take online clicks and drive clicks to brick and mortar businesses. It's more of a SaaS platform is what we're building it to be, rather than done for you. And so still very ROI driven, very accessible to smaller budgets. And so we have a more done for you, hands-on agency side, and then kind of a SaaS product that we're getting very, very aggressive with this year. So I know you asked for short, but that was a very long-winded response. So
no, that's good. That's good. My first question for you is, so tracking that ROI and tracking that the benefit of that marginal dollar, how are you guys specifically doing that? Like, how are you guys able to tell me that if I spend an extra $100 on marketing, I'm going to get X amount in return?
Absolutely. So, I mean, on the e-commerce side, it's very easy because and most of who we work with are on Shopify, Shopify Plus. So we use tools like Triple Whale and other tools to where we get what is our ad spend, what is our cost to help you out. What is the cost of goods? What is the cost of shipping? Like literally every dollar that we can think of that gets sunk into operating that business, we get into one spot, and then we track using Triple Whale, all these different ad platforms, what's driving these sales, and then through the analytics and dashboards, it really guides us on not only what is acquiring a customer, what is generating the profit. And so it's a matter of, at the end of the day, you have to aggregate all your data into one spot and then have a way to track all these different data sources and tag them accordingly and basically match them up with the user. And so it takes a lot of time to do it manually. Like I said, we use Triple Whale that helps greatly just do all that for you. On the click and mortar side, essentially what we're doing is when someone comes in, we have a QR code that someone scans. It's not there right now, but over the next couple months, we're going to be integrating the POS systems so that we can, here was the actual ticket amount, here was the cost to get them in, and basically integrate it into our systems so that, again, we have cost of goods, we have all the costs that we can think of, and then match it to the revenue that's coming in, the ad dollars, the cost of our platform, and show a true ROI. So it's a lot of melding data together. It's a lot of data and analytics. It is extremely hard, but I mean, this is something I've been trying to solve for years. Because once you can do it, now you have a math equation to really scale, and it makes a lot of decisions much easier.
Okay.
And so with that, with tracking customers, there's a lot of concern about data privacy with that, right? Where people are concerned that you could use it to, not in your case with e-commerce, but concerns with political elections and concerns with just relentlessly marketing to specific user groups or whatever. How concerned are you with like the data privacy of all this, and how do you sort of manage that with providing value to your clients and ultimately just improving the customer experience overall?
I love it. You hit the nail on the head. It's improving customer experience. So I love more of the scrutiny because it makes it harder for marketers. So it brings the true skill out in a marketer on how you communicate. To me, marketing is just having a conversation with your users. A while ago, it was all you could do is say one thing to a bunch of people. Now you have the ability to know exactly who you're talking to and say something to them. It gets annoying when we just continue to blast everyone. So I think it's a matter of how you communicate and not making it annoying. And gone are going to be the days where you can just snatch a bunch of data and reach out to people cold. You have to figure out a way to build that first party CRM data or get people to say, I'm willing to give you my data in exchange for something. So that's going to me the biggest focus moving forward is how can you set up some sort of lead magnet, some sort of offer, some sort of value add in exchange for, to start, the email and phone number. Then how do you continue to communicate through like quizzes and other things to identify their interest and all that. And as you build that up, it's a matter of, well, if I know you like dirt biking and you're a girl and you spend X amount a month on this, what can I say to you? Having that ability in what you say makes all the difference in whether they're going to convert and continue to buy.
I love that answer. That I think that's perfect right there. With the actual like messaging and the content, is that something you do, or that largely comes from just adapting the messaging for online?
So great question. And this is one that we continue to battle back and forth. We try not to get into, here's what you should say and craft the message. I'm not a brand marketer. I'm not good at like what words should be said. I'm good at looking at the data and say this works better than that and having conversations. So I'm very agnostic and knowing what we do well, and we can have the data and the analytics, and as a brand, we can guide on, hey, we think this, we think that. So it's very conversational. We have meetings and go, we think this is doing better, continue to do this, or how do we build on it? But ideally, we'll have like a creative or a branding agency that's part of these, that's either part of the quarterly meetings or once a year, and we present the data and then they continue to refine and hone it in. So that's kind of how we operate. Data and analytics help guide it, but we're by no means a branding agency that helps with what message we should be saying.
Okay.
Right.
So you were talking earlier about building that relationship with customers, but like essentially strangers, right? And so are you guys sending out these QR codes to random people, or are you partnering with some sort of business and getting them to do it for you? So that way it's not more you cold calling or cold texting somebody. What are you guys doing specifically for that?
Great question. So the platform that we have, it's come up with an offer. So we have a cold press juice company that we're working with. So they have 20% off. What we do is we take that offer. They give us just assets of like images and all that, and we'll build the ads. And basically what we do is we run ads using geofencing. It's through Meta ads, Google. We'll do TV stuff, programmatic TV like Hulu, YouTube TV, stuff like that. So we'll take the offer and just throw it out there to people right around the area. Then the people that click, they'll go to a landing page, or basically we have them opt in and say, hey, we'll deliver, your offer, your 20% off, or whatever that offer is, if you give us your name, email, and phone number, and that's what starts it. And so it's people that are opting in. We'll then deliver a QR code, which we've developed an app and custom solution for that. And so once it goes out, we can tell if someone scanned it. And so we then, 2 days later, if they don't come in, hey, well, I know life gets busy. We missed you, or what happened? We'd love to see you. And we continue to nudge and remind people until they basically come in and scan. And so it's kind of a way that we know, and it's very conversational, because once they scan, then they don't receive all the other messages that are built out. They then go to another flow where we thank them, ask for a review, and then start reaching out with another offer a couple weeks later and try and get that second visit. So it's very opt-in. Long way of saying they opt in, non-spammy. I'm very against spam and just getting data and just reaching out. I want people to opt in and want what is being offered. And that's what we've created.
In that process that you just described, that's Click and Mortar?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's an interesting one. What is the difference between the response rate to the Click and Mortar, that relationship building in the beginning, as opposed to just straight cold calling or cold texting people? Or do you know the numbers?
So do you mean like for us to reach out to try and get customers or clients, or do you mean for our clients to acquire and get customers in the door?
Your clients, like the difference between them using this Click and Mortar process as opposed to cold calling or cold texting?
Yeah, I mean, it's most don't do that because they're consumer focused, and even that, most don't know how to get ads out there in an omni-channel way. Most don't know how to, when someone engages with the ad, how to actually get them in the door, and know that they actually came in. And so, it's definitely not being done. What I'd love to eventually see is, it's basically we're building this first-party data because people are opting in, is eventually have AI or something that nurtures this database outside of just email and texting, that is not cold calling, but calling a warm audience that has opted in and, hey, how you doing? We'd love to see you come in, or something of that nature.
Okay.
On a similar line, I saw one of your, on your website, you have posted that you just decreased one brand's customer acquisition cost from $60 to $8, which I think that's crazy because, anyone listening to this, you have your business and you have your customers. Imagine adding $52 per sale, because that's essentially what it is. Saving on the customer acquisition is about the same as just increasing the cart size. An extra $52 per customer. Crazy. Do you remember that specific scenario and sort of what they were doing before and what you changed to get it down to $8?
I believe I remember or know what specific one you're talking to. At the end of the day, they were doing a good job at lead generation. And basically there's a statistic, I just heard it with my business coach the other week, that of anyone that comes to your doorstep, only 3% of people are ready to buy right now. So they were doing a good job at lead gen and getting that 3% to buy now, but they didn't, one, have a way to, did someone come in the door and track that? And two, it was, hey, thanks for opting in, come on in. And that was the only message. There was no further communication. And typically it's going to take, if someone opts in for even a 30% off, most people don't even come in until the 4th, 5th email or text. Like, it's, life gets busy. You need those touch points. You need that nurturing to happen. So most of the mechanism was already there. I mean, building first party data, getting emails and phone numbers, but it was the continuing and the nurturing. And then being personalized and knowing, did they come in? Did they not? They didn't want to build out the nurture because they didn't know if someone came in, and didn't want, like, if I did come in, to then keep going, hey, we haven't seen you, come on in, because then that's what creates that annoying experience. It's like, dude, I came in, but you keep telling me to come in, and that's what's frustrating. So it was literally just taking what they've already done and tweaking it a little bit more to get more data, understand the data, and build out more of our communications using that data.
And sort of shifting gears, because you mentioned this and I wanted to circle back to it, but AI in your industry. I mean, everyone's messing around with AI. Everyone suddenly think it's going to solve everything, right? How do you see AI influencing sort of advertising services and marketing in general?
I mean, I think AI is probably taking over more of the advertising industry than most, simply because of the copywriting. There's a lot of great ideas that come out in meetings, but so for example, let's test these 5 or 10 different headlines. That sounds great, but to actually get into market, to track it, to have the data to see if it actually works or not, takes a lot of human hours to do, where AI can take a lot of the doing of it, or the ideating around it, and just make everything so much more efficient. So it allows to test a lot more. So I think it's going to disrupt the advertising agency or industry big time, and mainly because it's going to allow businesses to do a lot of what current agencies do, which is that copywriting, place ads, analyze data. So honestly, the agencies should be worried and kind of changing their model a little bit. But outside of that, it's going to allow for businesses to do more. So it's going to make them more profitable. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of it. I love it. I'm dabbling every week and investing a bit of time every week into just trying different things. The one I'm like trying to create and figure out now is the OpenAI assistants. And so I have like an ad manager and a data analyzer and basically an ad team that can get all the way to what changes they would do, but I don't know code or functions to do the API calls to actually make it do it. But I'm like, I literally have 4 or 5 people that would have cost me $30,000 a month to employ, that I have this here. So it's going to make a lot more things more accessible, which is going to allow and create a lot more opportunity for a lot of people, which I'm excited about. But I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
That's cool. So
I don't know. I kind of equate it to like the Industrial Revolution. Like, there's a lot of people that made shoes, but when that happened, yes, some shoemakers left, but now we have a lot more shoe companies, and it creates a lot more diversity and the consumer benefits. So yes, unfortunately some people are gonna lose some jobs. There might be 1,000 job losses, but it creates 20,000 more, and I think net that's what we all want.
So, well, I think I sort of differ from your opinion, and I don't know if I'm qualified to have an opinion, but I do anyways. But with AI and how it's trained, it gets trained on a lot of data, and so what it reverts to is it reverts to being like mediocre. Like it goes back to being, if you're exceptional, AI can't really mimic you, but being mediocre, it does really well. So like with AI image generation, the images that it gets trained on and gets put out are from like artists. So an AI image generator is much better than an average person at drawing, just because the data gets trained on is, oh, these look so much better. And if you trained it on like supermodels, it would say the average attractive person is way above what a normal person looks like. And so with that, I think that because AI will be used and be disruptive, like you said, and allow people to do all this stuff, being unique and being creative and having your own voice is going to become even more important, because as AI gets used, everyone's just going to sound like the same. And it's just going to be a ton of like identical noise, and everyone can tell, okay, this is the exact same ad I saw from this completely different company because it was AI generated.
I mean, and I think we are exactly on the same page there. I mean, you get out what you put in, and it's what's going to be the difference is as it creates these efficiencies, in theory, it should create more time that allows you to think more. And if you can think more, you get more creative, which then the inputs and all that are going to be unique. It's up to us humans to take the time to do the thinking and be unique in the input. So, and I think that's going to be the differentiator is training these bots and like going back to like kind of what I'm working on, like have one for each brand or client, and we're feeding it its colors and all of that. So I think it'll boil down to the training, and I think the training will all boil down to the data and the analytics that people have, which I think we have a lot of work to do on that front. I do think there is going to be a huge like increase in AI and all of that, but then there's going to be a big stumble because all these models and everything are built on data, and then we're going to learn, man, we need to do better at data cleansing and organizing our data, and then from that learning, then it's going to create the huge trajectory up. So I mean, I think we're a ways away from it really taking off and allowing humans to do nothing and all of that. But at the core, it is what we teach it.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So you were talking about copywriting a little bit. One of our guests we had on previously was a copywriter, and I thought it was really cool. Like, it's something that everybody knows, but you kind of just didn't know that there was a name to it. And so I was scrolling through your website and I was seeing a little bit about what he was telling BJ and I when we were talking to him on the podcast. He was telling us that when you are writing stuff, headlines on a website, you want to make sure that it's focused towards the person that you're talking to, saying stuff like, you are the kind of person that's looking for X, Y, and Z, centered on their user. And I saw that your website was doing the exact same thing. And so I guess, I mean, you do have a marketing background, so you probably are a little bit experienced with that kind of stuff. Do you have anything to say about sort of the copywriting process and things that you've learned along the way?
Yes, I mean, it's content, graphics, video, and all that gets the attention. Copy sells. And so you could have the best traffic and everything, but if it's not personalized and speaks to someone, it's not going to sell. So I'm sure what you saw was, our generic homepage or the generic click and mortar page. Like literally we're starting out 4 different industries that we're going after. So we have a click and mortar page that is dedicated to med spas, ones that is just gyms, and like how you talk to them makes all the difference in the world. Like getting a new member to a gym, you're not going to say, hey, we want to get you new members to a med spa. Like that little what we want to get you is new customers. And if you say a customer, that's not going to resonate to each of them either. So yes, it makes all the difference in the world. And it's, again, going back to data. Once you know kind of the category, who the buyers are, what gets them to tick. And most people would like more time, more energy, or more money in their life. So if you can gear it all towards like how your product or thing can solve their problems and give them more of that, it makes all the difference in the world. And going from a 2% conversion rate to an 8%, you get a lot more lead volume, but then from lead to actual deal, I mean, the conversion rate is twice as strong. It just, as you can see, I nerd out on the data. It makes all the difference in the world. You get more leads, and then there's less selling involved. They're already sold once they hit your books. So it is worth the time, but it takes time, and I think AI helps solve that, to where it doesn't take copywriters sitting down and spending a whole day writing out copy for each segment. They can spend 2 hours in AI and get it done.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to broach with you is it sort of building out your team and your agency. It looks like you're at just under a dozen employees working with you. What sort of do you look for when trying to hiring a person, both in terms of like skill sets and attitudes, and what sort of do you push as far away from your company as possible? And how do you decide who you work with?
Great question. It's it took a while to kind of learn and had high turnover and all of that, but at now try and put up a big wall around and make it as hard as possible to come in and trying to create a really good core team and have big goals. So right now it's a lot of, are you selfless and do you have critical thinking? So part of our process is we're going to offer a project that selfishly is going to help us out, and we're not going to pay you for it. Like, are you going to be willing to do that? If you're not, chances are you're not as selfless as we want. People have their thoughts on whether that's right or wrong. That's great, but we have found the ones that are willing to do it and get it done quickly, which we allow them to set the deadline of whenever they can do it. So it allows us to see that. And then really, I like personally seeing that there's a sports background. I played sports, and there tends to be a trend that we're seeing, and I don't know. I really think the team is like a locker room, and you're only as strong as your locker room. And I've seen really talented teams do really bad in seasons. I've seen really not great teams do really good, and really the only difference is how they got along behind the scenes on the court and all of that. So don't really look to see if you get it, because the education can be taught, but are you a team player? Do you give in? Are you going to, check out right at 8 hours? Or are you going to maybe give a couple extra, knowing that, it'll come back and all of that? So try to be as strategic as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on a similar line, when it comes to the clients you work with and the people who are actually paying you, what do you look for there? What sort of is the perfect client to you? And then what client isn't worth the money, right?
Yep, and this was the biggest learning over the last year is I think we can change the world for everyone, which is great, but there are limitations, and that's what we've how can we audit or look to see if it's a good fit for the most part. And so really, I mean, for the e-commerce side, it's, do you have email marketing going? What do your flows look like? Abandoned cart? What is your post-purchase, your lapsed customer? What is your conversion rate? Do you know what your AOV is, your LTV? So it's almost like we give like a test and like, can you even fill this out? Do you even know your own business to, not to work with us, but, we can't talk about your business if you don't even know your own business. So it makes it tough. So once we pass that, we get into Google Analytics and look at the setup and really sniff around. And it's not so much to say, you don't have these, we're not going to work with you, but we call out, we know you need content on an ongoing basis. We know you need email. We know you need these things. Are you doing them? And if you're not, do you have something in plan, or are you open to getting something going? And as long as all of them are yes, then we know it'll be a good fit. But it's hard to get to where you're a little bit more picky and selfish. You kind of have to earn the right to do that. But I mean, it creates a lot more efficiencies, a lot less headache, and well worth it once you start doing it.
Gotcha. So I kind of want to go back here a little bit, back in time to the early stages of your agency, and sort of understand where you kind of got this call to action from, because I know you worked in marketing for a long time. And how did you validate that idea, and did you create an MVP? And if so, what did that look like?
Yeah, so the call to action for the Click and Mortar or the agency in general?
The agency in general, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot from do you need marketing help? Reach out, and kind of, again, taking anyone and everything to, really focused on what industry, what size of business we work with. So the call to action has really changed based off of who we're working with and what we're doing. And a lot of that has been learning in real time, getting black eyes, learning what we want to do, not want to do, and kind of pivot. So it's kind of changed over the years, and it'll always be evolving, because we're always tinkering and thinking of, our audiences, who we want to go after, who we want to work with, and what action we want them to take.
And so let's say I have a Shopify store and I'm doing Google ads and doing basic email, but I only have 2 minutes of your time. What's the one tip you would give me to help me boost what I'm doing? Like, is there some common mistake that needs to be avoided? Is there something that is new and a lot of people don't know about? Something like that. Just a quick tip for a Shopify store user.
Yep, I would say you really think of what the offer or lead magnet is, and most people quickly go to like 15% off, basically a pop-up. use ads to try and get more people on that pop-up so that you're getting emails, phone numbers, and contacts, and really think through your email game rather than look at getting 3x, 4x ROAS on your ads, which everyone does. Because ads are used to acquire customers, and more times than not, you're either breaking even or losing money on acquisition. So stop looking at 3x ROAS for ads and get people into your database and really nurture them. Like, what is the first thing you're saying? What are you saying 2 days after that? So you can reshift your focus on what outcome you're looking for in ads, and that's the opt-ins. And then with the email, build out that nurture and get into where you're sending 1 to 2 emails a week. Your overall all sales and conversion rate should be much better.
Sounds great. Yeah. I think I have just one more question for you, and then we can hop over to rapid fire. So you talk a lot about this nurturing thing, and how you need to build up that relationship with the customer and consistent content. But interestingly, I think there was only one example that I can think of where it's sort of the opposite. Is I've seen people would come to the website and they would see a pop-up and it would say, 50% off, this will only appear once, you will never see this ever again. Close or look deeper. And so as you can imagine, the look deeper got a super high click because of the scarcity. But there's also the argument for volume and the impact that has. It seems you're on the volume boat if there is a sort of boats to be had and sides to take. Why do you think the volume looks so much better than the scarcity, or just what's your thoughts on that sort of marketing?
Well, I think the scarcity works as long as you can pull it off. And scarcity will help with volume. For example, if it only lasts for a day, you can then have your ads. And if you set up audiences right, hey, only 24-hour sale, it lasts now. You have to opt in. So you're using the ads not to get the sale, but to get them to opt in. And then, once they opt in, if they only have a day to use it, you're creating that sale. But what does the dig deeper part do?
I think in this case, he wasn't doing ads for himself. He had an app that was popular, and then it redirected to a sponsor that was paying him. So it's a little different.
Gotcha.
Because the dig deeper would be explore this other site that the 50% offer is for. And so I think he saw a really high click. But sort of with doing this only lasts for a day, but if I know you're doing those every month, even when I need something, I might wait for that deal to tap in. So is there, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's not one way to do marketing, right? But have you seen sort of a negative drawback to that? Because in my head, I think, oh, that makes perfect sense. That will work all the time. But also, I'm not great at marketing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it comes down to how clean your data is and how you're communicating, because the pop-up, the images, the copy, all the website content can be different based off of if you've never purchased, if we know you purchased 7 times, if you purchased 3 days ago, what you purchased. So it's a matter of we know based off of the data, it's a matter of building that out in the logic, which most people don't want to take the time and energy to build out. That if we keep coming back and seeing the same, only lasts for a day, I'm like, okay, BS. I know that that's fake, but I know that if you came back and all of a sudden it's no longer there, it's now hey, download our style guide. All of a sudden it's oh man, okay, you actually did it. Now I know you're not bluffing. Next time I see it, I'm going to take more action. So you got to keep doing it, and there has to be a process around it, and you have to be personalized in it for it to work. If not, then yes, you're going to lose trust, and all your marketing would, I don't say all your marketing would go to waste, but all the sense of urgency, all of that stuff, people will just BS, and you're lying. And so it has to be executed well, which there's plenty of tools to do it. So, but yeah, great point.
It seems like everything goes back to just having that personal relationship with your customer. That was a perfect answer. I didn't think you would be able to answer that one, to be honest. I thought that was a pretty difficult question. But, dude, good job. That is a fantastic answer.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great question. Great question.
Okay,
right.
we're now to the rapid fire.
Yeah, let's move on to the rapid fire.
So 6 questions. We say keep it under 30 seconds, but that's also a challenge. So we'll see how it goes. First question is, how much sleep do you get?
6 hours a night on the dot.
Nice.
Go to bed at 10, wake up at 4.
Excellent.
Okay. What's your favorite book and why?
It's a toss-up between Built to Sell and Good to Great. Built to Sell helps create the systems, but Good to Great I like better because it's very data-driven and kind of shows you how to operate philosophically, not just black and white, and how to create a great company. So that's why I love it.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the start where you're, just starting out in marketing. Maybe you've just started doing marketing for ASU, something like that. You're starting over your career with basically nothing. What's sort of the first thing that you do? What's the first skills you acquire?
First skills I acquire are data and analytics. Because once you can kind of get a pulse on what's happening, what's working, what's not, that kind of leads you to where to focus. And so if you can learn that, then you'll start seeing a trend of, okay, well, it's ads. Then you can start focus. So at the core, what you learn will then teach you kind of the next trait, skill, whatever it is that you need to learn, whether it's ad management or social content, whatever it is. But the data.
Okay.
The first thing you learn is the first thing you learn is becoming a better learner.
Yeah, yep.
Wishing for more wishes here.
Okay, so what's most important to you in life? Data.
Yeah. All right, so what's most important for me, I mean, it's kind of getting woo-woo or whatever, but what's most important for me is, can I maximize my skill set to help as many lives? Like my whole life mission is to change as many family trees as possible. I think business is a very quick way to do it because it creates economics, it creates time, it creates a lot for business owners, for consumers, and all of that. So can I, throughout my life, deploy my skill set to maximize the earning opportunities for businesses so that it can change the lives of the communities, the people involved? Very tough to quantify, but that's my mission.
I like it.
Yeah. If you could change anything about the world, what would it be?
Stop making gut decisions and start looking at data and analytics. I'm so sick of hearing, I feel this, I feel that, and I don't think this works. And it's like, dude, the data says differently. Like, there's so much time wasted, so many wrong decisions because of the gut. And it's like, it's not 1903. This is 2024. We have the data. Let's just put in the word to figure out what data to look at and have conversations. So that would be my thing.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, the last one here. How do you want to be remembered?
Changing family trees. Take all the Shark Tank people, put them all together, and all the things they're doing within business. Like, I just create something that can help a lot of different businesses, which then change a lot of family trees. Which I don't know. I think I'm onto something with the click and mortar stuff. So only time will tell, though.
No, I love it. I think that's a great place to leave off, because that's exactly what your agency does. Is it helps businesses help their customers, and
Yep.
You seem to just be helping everyone with this and figuring out exactly how you can just improve their overall experience and make businesses more money so they can keep their customers happy, which I think is a fantastic mission. I'm excited to see where EIC goes and Click and Mortar, what happens there and everything. Maybe we need to do a check-in in a couple months or years or whatever it takes to see what really you've done different and how you've taken off, I hope. So best of luck with everything. And thank you so much for your time.
Good luck.
Cool. I appreciate the time and the opportunity. And I guess I'll leave it off with what do you guys want to leave your mark on the world with?
Ooh, that's tricky.
Volleyball. We'll volley the question back over.
I think I have very decidedly made the decision not to decide that yet. I think I got plenty of time and so much I want to do with my life that I think I need to hold on to, wait for something truly, truly remarkable, something truly, truly that I love to really hit and do that. And so right now it's just explore everything, talk to as many amazing founders just like you. That's a big part of this, is just the inspiration, being hit with that every week of, you're someone who seems like a normal guy and not too different from me, but you've accomplished all these great things and seem to have an awesome trajectory. And so I think that's sort of where I'm at, is just exploring all the different things and then eventually finding that one thing that I truly just go crazy with.
Yeah,
Love
I think the best answer I can give you to that question is to make the lives of runners better before I'm gone, because I've been a runner for as long as I can remember, whether that be through soccer or through track and cross country currently. But some way to give back to the community that's given me so much. And so that's probably the best answer I can give you right now. Whether I'm going to be very good at that or not, I'm not entirely sure yet. But I think that's the best answer I can give you right now.
You got it, man.
You know who it is that you want to serve, and kind of the why, and that's the hardest part usually. And so I love it. I think we'll definitely have to do a regroup in like 3 to 6 months and see where everyone's at. And I'd love to hear more on what you're doing to keep pursuing, and what's the next action item you're doing to accomplish that. Whether
that sounds amazing.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. And I hope everyone watching this right now subscribes, because you're going to want to see that episode. I think that in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to see something fantastic happen with Click and Mortar. So don't miss it. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at noon. Don't be late. We'll see you there.